back into my loft. I am Gamer Elf's Loft. Come in, sit back, relax, and listen to me ramble. Today, I found a bit of a saga for you guys. And the start of it poses a really good question. Could someone really be too stupid for D&D? Now, I'm a fairly new D&D person, and fairly new DM in all sense of the word. Mostly because I don't have any people around me to actually play. I mean, I have my wife, but only having one person in the game can be challenging. But that's not why we're here. So, my valued listeners, come in, sit back, and relax as you listen to me ramble. This first part is from D&D Horror Stories by writer Leadership Otter 5524, and is simply put as D&D Dumb Story. This is not really a horror story. This is a D&D dumb story. And to start, I'd like to propose a philosophical question. Can someone be too dumb to play D&D? This is what we'll try to investigate through these quick sample D&D stories, all taking place within the 3-year period where I, 25 at the time, was DMing for a group with an age range from 23, 2 players I met at school and were a few years behind me, to 43, 2 other guys I met from an online D&D ad, where initially one of them was a DM, and a couple friends my age in the mix. Anyway, this group has had various characters and many great stories, but this post is mainly about a newcomer to the group we had at the time. First of all, this guy, let's call him Rescinder, was not all too young. He was around my age, had no mental illnesses that we were aware of. I will say though, you didn't have to say mental illnesses. Was at college at the time and is now a successful lawyer and had, according to himself, played before. He's also a pretty nice guy outside of the game and a bit of anime enthusiast, but I made sure to explain thoroughly that this game was set in a more low fantasy medieval setting, and even pointing him at Game of Thrones and Conan as references. So, his first character concept? A human fighter. We were playing 3.5 at the time, who wanted to fight with 3 swords at a time. This is one within his mouth, one on each of his hands. A concept I was told to some anime multiple times when I told him this story. After explaining this isn't possible, I get, "But so-and-so has magic, that's much more impossible." And I had to thoroughly explain to him concepts like verisimilitude, tone, and setting, and he eventually settled on only 2 swords. So his guy was a male human 2-weapon fighter who wanted to become the best swordsman of the country. Sure, whatever. That'll work. What can go wrong? Players at the time, it wasn't an ongoing story, were employed at a caravan, with Rogue and the Fighter types as bodyguards. The gnome cleric, who originally knew the caravan masters, also gnomes, as supervisor, and a bard as a chronicle of sorts. They met an NPC gnome who would play riddles with some of them, and infiltrate spy, but that was unknown to them at the time. Got to know each other, played a few dice and card games, drank, and told stories of past adventures around the fire, as I painted a picture of those NPCs that would be important in the future. That kind of thing. Among those NPCs, there were, of course, the other guards of the caravan who, of course, had swords. One of them was particularly tall and had a scar on his forehead, etc. I challenge him to a duel. Why? I, Rescinder, see that this man is probably a veteran of many battles and, as such, I decided to challenge so I can prove I'm the better swordsman. Roland was in checks with the guard. He's surprised and reluctant to accept your challenge. They roll initiative. Rescinder misses an attack, an NPC guard hits and deals something like 6 damage with his sword. Rescinder misses again. NPC hits and deals something like 7 damage. Rescinder, a first level fighter with a +1 constitution, hits 0 HP and falls. The other players patch him up, but Cleric wouldn't just heal this random guard for no reason. So he makes sure he's alive and then put him to rest on his tent. Rescinder loses the first hour of roleplay and the first combat against humanoids who attacked the caravan during the night or something. Come the next day, they get to this village. This is a homebrew setting, basically dominated by the Order of the Crow. Scholars dedicated to studying various subjects, and often sought out for around the country to solve various practical problems, build walls, heal diseases, research arcane matters, etc. in this little fancy setting. Since wizards and clerics are extra rare, Bard, by the way, studied a bit with them, which is why he's a bard. The main building for this order is a toe, with its own garrison, and a somewhat difficult relation to the city's militia. The plot was supposed to be a murder mystery. One of the crows would die and the PC would have to find hidden NPC/poisoner they had spoken to before, the gnome on the caravan. But, of course, before the PCs having put their backpacks on the room the order managed for them, and even before any killing could take place, Resender woke up and decided to enter the barracks of the garrison of the guards that protected the tower. Who here is your leader? Huh? I am. I challenge you to a duel. Unsheath your sword. Being lawful good, but also something like 6th level. Why? I attack. Are you sure? Resender actually hits this time and deals some average damage. NPC Knight, surprised, finally unsheaths his sword and rapidly hits Resender, who not even was yet at full HP, twice. Resender is unconscious again. This time, Resender wakes up in a cell and is going to be judged for attacking an official for no reason whatsoever. But Bard, chaotic good, decides to intervene and uses links to the Order, some spells and various successful persuasions and bluff rolls to convince the judge of the Order, they had their own jurisdiction within our city, to essentially just cut one arm of Resender's, as opposed to condemning him to death, despite the attacking happening in broad daylight with dozens of witnesses. Before the sentence is carried out, however, they hear screaming and the killing takes place in the town. While the majority of the people were on the courtyard for the judgment, everybody goes inside, and as they try to investigate, Resender is taken back to his cell, in chains, while the rest of the PCs get to investigate, and Rogue and Cleric, spending 2 spell slots, manages to free him during the confusion. After a few hours, the PCs, mainly the warrior types, a ranger and a barbarian, and the bard, solved the mystery and get to the climactic fight at the top of the tower against a gnome spy, who turned out to be a cultist from a deity's enemy to the clerics. The investigation got a bit easier since many of the suspects were at the courtyard instead of in their cells, but still used most of the plot points. However, only 3 PCs were present instead of 6. Resender, Cleric, and Rogue were absent for most of the time because they were saving/hiding Resender. PCs had less spells because they were helping Resender. This ended up with an unfortunate death for the immediate death of the Ranger, later death for the Bard by a curse, and the casting of a permanent blindness on the Rogue. Oh boy, I missed 3.5. And the enemy decided to flee after humiliating them, using a summoned giant bat, but not on Resender's watch. Huh? I jumped after him, like, on the bat. Are you sure? Yes. After a roll, he had no acrobatics and not great athletics, mind you, Resender ended up crashing and having to hold onto a parapet with just one arm, which the enemy promptly cut off and he fell to his death. And thus ended the tale of Resender, the future great swordsman of the realm. But not of his player? No. He would send me back, now playing a cleric and later a wizard, but those are stories for another time. If you guys want to read, of course. Now, OP, I have a couple things that I want to say before I wrap this video up. 1, I want you next time, if your next part is this is bad, to just take a little bit of time to edit. That was some of the hardest things for a dyslexic brain like me to read. But, I have to say, this character wasn't stupid. He was just playing an edgelord, like most weebs want to do. Which is fine. He wants to play Zoro. He wants to be Sung Jin Woo. That's fine. He can do that. But you can also have the other players or you tell him that what you're doing is not helping the situation. Alright. So, I'm going to do a little bit of a rant now. Not a rant, but I'm going to go over things that I think should be said to this player and how you can all move forward with this situation. Just let people know that what they're doing can be hurtful to the campaign and to their player and to the character. You got to think about it this way. If the character is you, would you just jump off a tower onto a giant bat when you don't think you can make it or you know you can't make it? I don't think so. You can also talk with the DM or talk with your players and show how rogues and other classes like that should be played. Not in the sense that he's playing it wrong, in the sense that he doesn't need to be playing a character from another thing. He's just playing his own character. Playing your own character makes the party good. Playing a already written character word for word or act for act is not how you play characters in D&D. You play characters based on how you want to play a character and how you envision the character, not how you have seen on TV and want to make that character your character. That is just cosplaying in D&D, and that's not how you play D&D. With that being said, I hope you all had a good time, and again, please like, comment, and subscribe so I know how to improve and make this all better for everybody. And also, proofread before you post to help people with brains like mine to read better. Again, hope you guys relaxed, enjoy your time, and come back to my forest hovel anytime you like. Have a good one.